But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest. I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking, and they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, so stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
What is up, people? Let me make sure everything is set. I had to literally uninstall my OBS and the whole nine. I freaking hate OBS so much. So, yeah, nothing really planned today. Just wanted to just go live and talk about some of the crap that's been going on, especially, in the flat Earth side. Also, it's going to probably be, I think probably by tomorrow, hopefully, I'm going to have like a whole fucking list of bot commands and all that shit for you guys. I got some pretty good feedback and ideas for that, so I decided to spend 12 hours the other night just customizing a couple of the bots. You'll probably see, I know the stream element one that's in there, it's the normal one. But there'll be a Streamlab and a night bot probably tomorrow, hopefully, and then links for all that good stuff and other good fun stuff that I'm gonna be adding to this. So last night on my saga of this is all these bullshit that's going on. Riley shows up at Jose's last night while I'm on Jose's panel, and he's in the chat talking shit like usual, calling me a science denier, which it's funny because how am I the science denier and all you do is tell us how science is not as it's said? Denier, huh? Anyway, but I thought it was funny that he after he felt like I was gone, he jumps on Jose's panel. I refuse to listen to that fucking idiot unless he's gonna be here to talk. So I don't even know he jumped on Jose's panel after he felt comfortable that I was gone. So I thought that was pretty funny. Get this out there for you guys. There you go. There's your link. I think I had that one of the bots ready for that. I don't even know if the Streamlab one is in here yet. So I'll use a Stream Element one. Yeah, I remember when I first started streaming, it was crazy. It wasn't these bots were around but no one ever used them, or if they did use them, they were always glitching out or doing something crazy. But man, after 2 years, these fucking things you can do with these bots is insane. What's up, sir? Wait, hang on. Whoa. Boom! I remembered this time. I unmuted you. I'm proud of myself when I do that. Don't.
I caught the tail end of Jose's show because that was sort of, I think he starts about an hour before I get up in the morning.
Did
Given the time difference, so I was having my breakfast when Riley sort of jumped in and started his usual nonsense.
yeah, and it's funny because I don't even know. It's at this point, as long as I can express what he's doing is wrong, I'm happy with it. And I've had a lot of people go, doesn't matter what he says, but to me, it kind of does. It kind of irritates the shit out of me when he does that. Words fucking. Or at this point, it's just all out lies, and it is frustrating, and it's irritating the shit out of me. And I know I probably should just let it go, but I can't do that.
I know. I mean, I've watched his latest videos, and it's like there's no point leaving the comment because he'll just go off on one, or he'll delete it.
Well, that's why I started. That's why I instantly, the second I left that message, I was like, "You better take a screenshot of that shit."
Yeah, well, of course, if you leave comments on any of his videos and he deletes them, then they can still be found.
Yeah, it's
There is a certain thing on Discord.
Oh, really?
I know in the past, a few weeks back, he deleted about 5 or 6 of my comments off several of his videos because I can still see them.
Yeah, it's insane that he does that. Like, what was it? Quantum Eraser. So, what was it? When he started doing that show where he goes and just basically talks a lot of shit about flat earthers, it was weird.
Yeah.
I went over to the Discord, his Discord that they have, and I was asking him like a couple questions, and of course he gave me that same, robot answer that they always have, and he has them a widget that makes it so you just all you gotta do is click something and it all like a paragraph pops up, and I was like, is that part of your script? And I've been sitting in their little timeout room for about a month now because of it. the fun
But he
part
does
is,
have a script.
Oh yeah, big time. I've heard Chris Berry refer to whatever he was reading at the time as Quantum Erasers information, the whole nine. It's a joke, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I like Chris. He's funny. He can make an argument out of anything. And
Yeah.
I told him today in a message. I was like, hey, dude, you need to just step back from those dudes because they're gonna make you look really bad, and people are gonna start putting their feet to the fire like I'm trying to get everyone to do. That's all there is to it. And I realized right away. I was like, well, if I start doing this, where I'm going to press until I get an answer for flat Earth. Suddenly, flat earthers don't like it and stop coming on. You're only showing me that there's a reason for why I'm doing this.
Yes, quite.
Well, it's not like you're doing it in a mean way.
No. That's I'm
that's what I like about it.
Oh yeah. I don't need to get personal about it at all.
No.
At all. There's no reason to get personal about it. Wanting answers, that's just wanting answers. If anything, I would expect flat earthers to do the same questioning and act the same way I am. You can be angry, you can demand answers, but what does your family have to do with shit? What is your unless it's Pete, what does your mental state really matter? You know what I mean? He's like the only one I'm not worried about offending at all.
Pete O'Shea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a crazy guy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean I had a long talk with him, and yeah.
I had an opportunity to have that. It was about 2.5 hours talk with him, just one-on-one with me and him on one of my streams. And
Yes.
I'm sorry, I like Pete. I think talking to Pete when he's not defensive, acting all defensive and shit, he's cool dude. It's just when he gets defensive or he feels the need to do the dodo act, that's when I get frustrated. But again, I feel the way I'm handling these things on my panel, are correct. You know, like for instance, mind of God. Oh no, I mean he knows the shit. I mean, like yesterday I was telling him, you know, stop. I'm gonna kick like all, but I think he understands where I'm coming from because I like him. He's cool. I got some respect for him. So like there's that thing where I'll let him push a little with that game, but if you're calling it out, when people hear this again, they at least know it's what you know what's happening, or they know what to watch out for no matter what.
It's quite funny. I tend to find I end up treating people like children, like my children. You know, where I won't get angry, but I'll be bloody stern with them, because that's how you get the reaction you want. And it was quite funny. I was in with a couple of and one was being really, vindictive. It was when I think you might have even been in there. It was in the hangout one of the hangouts that Grim was in, and Grim and I get on normally okay. And he said, and I actually got him to apologise.
Oh yeah, he's waiting for the push, like when he gets on the pet or he gets anywhere and he's talking, he's waiting for someone to go, "You're wrong," and he's like that from the very start. So if you can get him in that mode where relax, dude, we're just conversating, stop sharing all those damn links, and then he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against most people.
Oh, I only have issues.
There are a few individuals I dislike, and I intentionally dislike, but not really
definitely
any from the flat Earth.
Oh, there's a couple in Flat Earth, there's a couple in the Globe too. I equally hate. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you've got to be even-handed, haven't you?
I think you have to, no matter what.
With most people, I'm fairly ambivalent. Because it's more the argument that I care about than anything else.
But whatever you're doing, Drush, stop it.
Oh, sorry, I'm rustling stuff, aren't I? I do apologise.
Was that a packet of crisps or what?
No, basically I am just sorting out a whole load of zip ties, and I was putting them into a Ziploc bag because that's what you put zip ties in my world. And then I was just rolling it up to put it back in because I'm going camping in a couple of weeks.
Wait, backpacking or camping?
Backpack camping. Well, bike camping.
Then we need to talk later because I backpack, and it sounds like that's a bad idea. That's too much weight.
Oh no! It's about 6 zip ties.
Oh, okay.
A bit of rubber banding, a few bits and bobs. It's basically what happens if one of the guy ropes on my tent actually breaks, and on my tarpaulin breaks, and I need something to hold it to the ground that's quick, easy, and I can do in the dark. So I have bright orange zip ties.
Nice.
Well, presumably you also have bright orange guy ropes.
No. You need to not see those so someone can trip over them. It's wonderful. I've done it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've sat in the campsite and you hear a curse and then somebody just shouts out, "Guy."
Well, I'm gonna tell you. So here's what happens. So I do a lot of backpacking, and I use a paracord. I like because you can reuse it and. Strong as shit.
1,001 uses that stuff.
I usually I'll take 20 feet and assume I'll probably end up losing 10 feet of it throughout the day or throughout the trip. But most of the time, I'll do average of 13 to 18 miles. I usually just lay in the dirt, just pass the fuck out. I've done that so many times. I was like, I'm not unpacking, not doing it. I don't care because I don't even use a tent. Just use a tarp as a cover or for bedding. But there's been so many times I'm like, I'm not even pulling that off my pack. Fuck that. And that's when I learned about weight. It took me probably about 3 trips to understand that, hey, that GPS guide that you have, that you may not even want that next time you come out here. Like it's always a joke because I do sections of the same trail of the PCT, and I always try to start inside where I left off, so I'm seeing what I did, maybe 5-10 miles of what I've already done. And what happens is as you're doing this trail, because there are people that actually do the whole 2,600 miles, they realized they brought too much. So along the PCT, you can find almost any piece of equipment for camping, food, like everything you can ever need, you'll find on that trail because people just drop it.
Because they've just dumped it.
Yep. Sunglasses. Yep. I've actually seen a 4-person tent on the middle of the trail, probably about 10 miles from any road or town or anything. Yeah, it's insane that they do that kind of stuff. What's up, Chris? How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
No, it was I addressed. I'm gonna mute you while you're doing that, but unmute yourself when you're ready.
Sorry, I've actually stopped now. So
okay.
Are crisps British for chips?
I think
no. What I was doing,
French
I was
fries.
doing something that's almost like porn for.
I think French fries are chips. They call chips crisps, and they call French fries chips.
No, we call chips and crisps crisps. You buggers get it wrong.
Wait. What are French fries in France?
In France?
French fries are just an abortion. They're not a proper chip at all.
What the hell did you say?
That's some parapod. That's parapod porn for you.
There it is.
Oh.
I'm gonna need to end this stream real quick. Dress, meet me in another hangout.
Sean just needs 5 minutes to himself.
5. I'm taking my time with that one. Wonderful colors and shit.
Yeah, that's just what's on the back of my door, which is readily handy.
And you said you bike in, right? Is what you said? And you lied. You're not done. I can still hear you rustling.
Oh, sorry. I'm putting stuff away. I will stop putting stuff away until after this stream, or I mute myself. Yeah, I'm a biker.
Oh, nice, because I do downhill. I did cross country for like 5 years.
No.
Way back in the day.
No. I have an engine.
Oh, you're a
proper motorbike.
Nice. Whoa, how far are you going?
I'm going about 70, 80 miles west of where I am here, sort of Brecon Beacons.
Or how long is your trek in?
I'm going up to basically it's a solstice camp.
Oh, okay. So you have a look.
Not this weekend, next weekend. So yeah. So I'm just getting all my shit ready.
I've done that one time with a UTV, a Rhino, or side by side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did that out in the desert. We did 175 miles in 3 days. It was pretty badass.
The longest I've done on a motorbike in a stretch, I've done from just about 40 miles north of Aberdeen down to Manchester in one stretch. And that's about 280, 300 miles with a couple of stops for fuel.
Yeah, I like those types of roads.
That's kind of most of it was motorway, to be fair.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't know, because I'm a desert rat. I go out to the desert a lot and do all that kind of stuff. You know the Baja 500 or the Baja. Everyone probably knows more about the Baja 1000. Well, they have the 500, and they also have one out here in the desert. It's called the Plaster City Race, and I've done the 500 and the Plaster City Race on a quad. So I love doing those type of things.
Yeah, no, I just love. I've never owned a car in my life, so I don't know what it's like to have a car.
Oh, I'm scared to have a bike.
No,
I won't ride a dirt bike.
Motorbikes are just toys.
Motorbikes are meaningful forms of transport to get you around.
Like I said,
yes, but a car's a damn sight more practical, especially when it's cold and wet and horrible.
Yeah, but then you can put your children in it.
Touche, motherfucker. I just heard what you said. I get it now.
What children? I'm divorced. My stepsons are grown up.
God, you both are lucky.
In fact, my eldest is also my mechanic.
Even better. Free work.
Yep.
No. My eldest is 15 and my youngest is 11.
Yeah, mine's 11 going on 35.
Yeah, same thing. I've got twins, 11-year-old twins.
Jeez, I'm so sorry. But anyway, we digress. Chris, in reference to what I said earlier, I don't know what upload it was. It was something, but you did refer to Quantum Eraser, and you could hear yourself flipping through something. And I'm not saying it was 100%. That was my opinion. It was a while ago. It was a while ago. No, it wasn't like this recently.
How you guys are seeing?
I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't have any problem saying that a lot of the stuff I've come across is from Quantum Eraser. I think he really knows a lot of his stuff, and he has really good citations. And I just don't know what else to say. Like people on the ball side have really tried to disparage his name and what he's done, and I think it's the exact opposite. I think that he's really brought a lot to the table, and a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't have thought of, or certain roads people wouldn't have gone down if it wasn't for QE. That's how I look at it. But
well, the only issue I would have with that is that it's really confusing to me now. If we put what he says to the test, it doesn't match up. But when we present something that is in the with something how it works, you guys instantly refute it. I've heard you say it, I've heard Riley say it, but that whole presuming that it's a fucking globe. But aren't you doing that with the flat Earth?
No, it depends on what you say and how you say it.
Okay, a boat is obstructed because of curvature because it's a globe.
That's presupposition.
Okay, so what is different about flat Earth?
There is nothing different. If I said the boat is obstructed due to waves, I'm presupposing that it's waves because I understand what waves are and what they could do. But the difference is I would have to go out and prove that it's waves.
Okay, but isn't the observations from like Dazaman and countless others are observations that it is obstruction due to curvature?
Well, I don't know who that is you reference, but I would say observations are observations, and you have to do more work than just take a picture or video and make a claim based on a picture or video.
So would you say that Ranty is presuming whatever the fuck it is, flat Earth then? When he says presupposing. Thank you, farmers. He's presupposing flat Earth when he says that obstruction is swells or
not if you can prove it.
Okay, he hasn't proved it.
Well, then that's fine. I mean, he's presupposing, he's assuming really that it's the swell that's causing the obstruction if he hasn't proven it. I don't know if he has or he hasn't.
Well, he hasn't.
I think that it is a possibility that a swell or a wave could block something, but I don't think that's what's blocking half of a building from being seen.
But you would say that Ranty then is presupposing, right? A flat Earth, right?
Not talking about swells.
Why? If I say a boat is being obstructed due to curvature,
he's not explaining why the Earth is flat with swells. He's explaining why things can be blocked from the bottom with swells.
Well, we're showing you why curvature blocks it, not swells.
But you can't just say curvature and leave it at that. You have to somehow prove that it's curvature that's causing the obstruction.
We can. Or we can provide that evidence, or actually how we can prove it. For instance, if you're on the beach, use a drone and
you mentioned the D word in front of CP.
Oh shit! I didn't even see him here. Holy shit! How you doing, sir?
What's up, man? Why are you doing this to Barry, man? This is below him, man. We got to talk about higher mind things.
Chris, I'm not. This is a good conversation, right? I mean, realistically, I'm just trying to clarify things. I'm not.
You're trying to wordplay us into saying something that you already know. You already know what we know. That's why I find it funny.
Oh yeah, you're right. In that sense, yes, I know where this conversation is going. Yeah, 100%. That's why I stopped the conversation I was having with Dress and Farmers and addressed Chris, and we are now in a conversation. It's kind of.
You're right in the sense that we're presupposing, like by quote unquote default, because everyone would agree on everybody on Earth will agree the default is flat and stationary, and we have no reason to move beyond that. So one second, our presupposition is rooted in consensus.
So what you just said is it's okay to presuppose flat Earth because you assume it's flat already.
Yeah,
No,
everybody.
He didn't say it's okay to do that. He just says that's the default.
Yes.
So
our presupposition is more logical than yours.
No, okay. Now, what would make
Yes,
it
it
more
is.
logical? What?
It is.
I know you are. I know you are, but what am I?
It's by your own rules of consensus. Our presupposition is more logical. It's more rooted in consensus.
Now, what would be
and literal senses?
Now, how would you base that on logic?
I mean, we have no reason to not believe certain things. That is a logical stance, right?
Well, at the point, once someone starts presenting evidence to the contrary, that would then be the time.
Correct, and that has not happened. That's why we're here.
Okay. So if we show you a boat that is obstructed, and we say it's because due to curvature, and you say no, it's not, and then we show you why it is due to curvature, and your claims of why it does it don't work, but our claims do, then what?
But what about other situations where
no. Stay here.
That's the whole point.
Stay right here. Stay on that. Stay on what I just asked.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I'm giving you that. I say fair enough. That's fine. That you that I know what images you're talking about too. When we all went through that on that one hangout, but the issue that we have and a lot of people.
My God, I do appreciate the fact that you did concede to that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be here if there was absolutely no case for the ball Earth. Like that's not what it is. But we are at least open to the possibility that occlusion or whatever is caused by something else. And there's the issue you guys have is that obstruction doesn't always happen. That's the problem. You guys should at least have some doubt in your own worldview because. Fair enough. We can give you that bottom up happens sometimes. It appears optically to happen, but there are situations where it doesn't happen, and then there are situations like in my hallway that happen on a flat surface. So there should be some conflict in your mind, right? Intellectually.
Well, Let me round out the point by saying what I've said the last few weeks stands. We're at a stalemate, right? So you'll claim curvature, we'll claim atmospheric refraction and optics.
You're right. Okay, yeah.
And then we don't. Neither side can fully prove the case.
That's okay, but here's the thing.
And so neither side can fully prove the case.
But that's not true.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely true.
I come from, I like the mountains, and I spend a lot of time in the mountains, and especially up in Scotland. And that's where I have a problem with what you're saying. Because what I can see is I can see peaks that are obscured by other peaks in front of them. And the peaks behind. So when you're coming up to Ben Nevis, Ben Nevis is hidden and it rises as you move towards it.
That's called perspective?
No, that's not called perspective. You're talking about angular size. And when it's in relation to an object in front
angular
of you,
size changes due to perspective.
Yeah, that's not the same thing that's happening here. It wouldn't rise up. Why would it increase in height?
Yeah.
As I move towards it,
really?
If it wasn't for the curvature, when the mountain in front, when the mountain, it's rising above the mountain in front of me.
Here's the problem with what you said. This is exactly what I mean. This is how flat Earth can explain it, and the globe surpasses its explanation. Therefore, it would be the more logical.
Can I just talk with Russ for a second?
Well, hang on, because I want to address what you guys are talking about. Because
we haven't established anything though.
Yeah, but hang on. If it was a flat
I'm
Earth,
denying his claim.
Okay, listen. If it was flat Earth and perspective was a reason for objects disappearing from the bottom up, then that means if you launched an amateur rocket and you were under it, you would see it disappear in the sky bottom up. Do you understand that? Yeah.
No.
Because there wouldn't be obstruction. That's Remember? Wrong. Look. The objects. Listen.
Sean, no, you stop. You interrupted the conversation between me and Russ.
Yeah, because you were talking about objects, perspective, and objects disappearing bottom up, and I needed you to understand that's why it doesn't work that way.
Russ wasn't. He was talking about
you said that.
Down.
You said that. You said perspective is the reason for. You said.
I did not say from top down.
You said you see mountains rising above due to curvature.
Yeah.
Listen. Chill, man. Let them talk. Now you're doing the rumpus, man.
No, I'm not.
We can't even get. I can't. I'm trying to clarify what Russ is saying.
No. I'm not talking about what Dress is saying. I'm talking about what you just said. You said perspective. You said things are disappear from the bottom up due to perspective. That's what you just said.
No, I didn't say that.
Are you, Chris? Why do you do this? You need to really stop and think about what you say before you say it.
Sean, I did not combine perspective and things disappearing bottom up.
Okay, go ahead, continue. I'll find it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, go find it. So, Druss, can you please re-explain what you're saying? You're saying you have a mountain in front of you, and as you get closer to the mountain, the mountain appears to rise, and you're saying that's evidence.
No. Have you ever been in a mountain in relation to an object where you've got valleys and so you know when you come over a ridge of a valley and you see everything poured out below you, and then you go down towards the bottom of it and you don't see as much anymore. Yeah, I can't see to the same distance because I can't see as far because I'm not high enough in front of them. That's what I'm talking about. So when you come,
what does that have to do with curvature?
Because that's the curve that I'm seeing over when I'm at an altitude. When I'm looking down across a valley. So if you go up to say Gloucestershire, near Ireland, Ben Nevis can go up to the and it rises a big drop, which then goes out into a large valley about 25. No, that's not called perspective. You're talking about angular size from the top. And when it's I can see the entire valley. Yeah, as I go down, as I hike down that, I see less and less in front of me because it's now being obscured by the curve because I'm getting to a lower altitude. That's what I have a problem with.
Well, you know that
I have another problem. I'm just going to follow it up with one point that really affirms to me why I think it's this shape. It wouldn't rise up. If I go north, and I actually did this before I ever even got involved in flat Earth. I like archaeology. That's kind of my passion, and I actually have a sextant. And I took a sextant and I actually took measurements as I rode up to north of Scotland, where some of my family are. Yeah, and I took readings of Polaris. Because I wanted to confirm that, Polaris would go up about a degree every sort of 70 miles or so. And that's kind of what it did. And I took 5 or 6 measurements as I went. And it went up. And that only works on a curved surface. It cannot work on a flat plate. Those are the two things for me. They're two strongest things. Plus, I've done satellite communications. So that kind of nails it for me factually. But you haven't done that. So I'm not going to throw that into your box because you don't believe they're up there. But
so your first claim. So let's just talk about what you said. Your first claim that as you descend in altitude, you can see less and less through the curve. You could, as on a flat plane, as you descend in altitude, you can also see less and less. It's due to the angle at which you're able to see things in the distance.
No, so again, the laws of perspective wouldn't allow for that.
No.
Communication.
Okay, well, we have people doing tests and observations that show just that very thing.
So I'm not going to throw that into a box because you don't believe that.
Yeah, on a flat. So your first claim, the tests are using flat surfaces. Claim that as you descend,
and pretty much every single, and I've seen dozens of videos that show exactly the opposite, Chris. Yeah, and then we have the actual laws of perspective.
Right. So that's my point. We're at a stalemate. So
no, it's not. It's the fact that we have some really what we have is very simple and demonstrable things, which is you can ping a satellite and tell how far it is. I've done that.
Do you know where the visible refraction is worse on the Earth?
Down near the sea level where the moisture.
That's right.
Chris, can I ask you a question? I need to ask you a question. What is the refraction of the air of our atmosphere? The refraction index.
It varies, Sean. It varies.
Okay, but what is it? Because it varies within this number. It varies within the number.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it does. Well, prove your claim. Go for it.
Yeah, prove your claim.
Wait, but while I prove my claim, Chris, you don't know what the index of refraction is, right?
Sean, did I say that perspective causes things to disappear bottom up, by the way?
Hey, keep it on topic.
1.003 or something like that.
Thank you, mighty God. Thank you.
But dude, this is not a quiz.
Hey, Chris, you can thank MOG. This is the reason why I asked him this question. Because if I started talking to you about the Bible, would you hear it right away if I wasn't knowledgeable of what I was saying? You would catch on pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So when someone talks about refraction as if it to be the facts, but doesn't understand how it even works, that's why I said something.
Dude, we all co-sign Chris Berry. He's a scholar, man. He's just looking for the truth.
Okay,
Chill.
then you shouldn't have to defend him.
Sean, you made a claim that I said something. You went back to listen. Did I say what you said?
I couldn't hear it because it's double audio, and everyone heard me trying to do that.
Okay.
So when I get a chance, I'll find it. Don't worry.
All right. So no, my claim is absolutely valid, and that is the lower you go to the surface of the planet, the worse refraction is, because that's where the source
refraction.
of all the heat is.
The most refraction.
Well, no,
it's not worse. It's
Yeah,
most.
Yeah, and again, it depends on where you are and the temperature. So actually,
if you're emitting, Sean,
can I finish my
refraction,
sentence,
or are
Chris?
you trying to ask me what the refractive
Okay,
index?
Because I
keep
wanted to
talking,
know if
that's
you
cool.
knew. That's all.
Well, John and I were talking, so just a second.
No, you and Dress were. I interrupted to make sure you knew what you were talking about. Mind of God saved you. Now you're back to the conversation. Go ahead.
How could he save me based on something that what I said was right?
Because you didn't answer my question, and I don't think I don't even know if you could repeat it right now.
Your question was a red herring.
No, it's not. It's me to
It had
find out
nothing
if
to
you
do with what I
wait.
said.
So it's a red herring for
Sean,
me to see.
did what I say was what I said
Is
wrong?
it, Chris? Is it okay? It's not okay for me to find out if someone is talking about a topic if they even have the knowledge of that topic. It's wrong of me to find out. Maybe that's why you think Quantum Eraser is a genius.
It would make sense if what I said was wrong, but what I said wasn't wrong.
I said something the second I realized you were talking about refraction again.
John,
That's
quoting
why
a
I asked
number
you.
doesn't mean you know what it is. You could quote the speed of RF radio waves, but that doesn't mean you know what they are, right?
You're right.
Like that's
You're exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
No, but why?
if that is the case, mind of God, if
Why
that's the
quiz
case,
us on
listen.
something trivial?
If that's the case, then do I have a place to use that as fact?
No one does, because no one understands these optics to the depth that you want. Not even Rumpus.
So then why?
No one does.
So then why is he? Why are you allowing Chris to do it right now if no one does?
No one should be able to. Then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, mind of God. Hey, Chris,
no,
mind of God says stop.
You better not talk bottom up then if you can't explain that rigorously mathematically.
Yeah, I can.
No, mathematically.
I can with curvature and everything. Yep.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. 100%.
Go for it. I'm going to make you look bad, but go for it.
Okay.
And take
how about this?
into account.
How about we do this? Mind of God. After this hangout, me and you will do a one-on-one, and I will do exactly that. Because there's a lot of people here, and it's something that I would have to actually do on an illustration, and I'd have to make the markings and all that stuff. And this will give me an opportunity to actually do that. So when I'm time to do it, I can be ready for it. Seeing how this wasn't planned.
What equations are you going to be using to govern the light rays?
I'll present that to you.
If you do that, dude, I'll give you a huge pat on the back. I'll swallow my tongue if you really do that.
No. If I do that, then you'll have to you'll have to listen to me over Chris, because I'll be able to do this when Chris can.
No, but
Chris,
I'm warning you.
Hey, hang on, stop,
I'm not in a bad mood when this hangout happens.
My God, stop. Chris, you should check out Stellarium. And I actually noticed this the other day. So the reason we're able to see the planets and everything, and I didn't know this, and actually your uploads with the shadow thing actually is what helped me cue on to actually seeing this. But the reason we see planets is the albedo rating. I said it wrong again, I know. I
said
did.
What? Albedo?
Did I say it wrong, Chris? Did
I think it's the
No. I said it right. Yeah, I did, because I got the word I was thinking it was in my head. Okay, I got it. Okay, sorry.
The math is over your head, Sean, and it's over most people's heads.
No, it's not.
It's actually way over your head. No. Honestly,
it's not.
Not to be rude.
No, it's not.
Okay. Not to be rude.
It's even Rumpus admits that he doesn't write the code for his ray tracer. He has someone named Philip, another probably.
Hey, mind of God, I'm not Rumpus.
I'm just telling you, he doesn't even do it. Somebody else does.
Guess what? I'm not Rumpus.
No, fair enough. But he comes across like an intellectual. I'm telling you that even it's not even.
Do I come across like an intellectual?
What's that?
Do I come across like an intellectual?
By the statement you just made that you could model the bottom-up obstruction using mathematics, that's ambitious, man.
Why?
Very ambitious.
Why?
Because very few people have even thought of doing that.
What are you
talking about? They have no reason
about?
to do that.
That's what geodetic surveying does. It finds those points. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to find those geodetic points. I'm going to show it on a fucking graph. And I'm going to show you on an illustration or a visual illustration of it. So then you can understand it better. Don't tell me I can't. Look. Yeah.
Rigor.
Yeah. Guess what? I said that. I already told you I'd get those numbers for you too, buddy. It's going to be wonderful.
No, equations.
No.
Cool.
Hey, here's the problem, mind of God. You just stepped into my wheelhouse.
Dude, I'm
understand how
home.
I understand how surveying works, and I understand how the geodetic points work. I understand how the curvature works, and I understand how 8 inch per square mile is a layman's fucking term for the curvature. And last night, that fucking flat Earth dad, I hope that fucker comes around here.
Sean, here's the modeling problem. 1 second, let me finish. We'll look at an image. Each image has the image has pixels, right? And each of those pixels has a number associated with which dictates what color is represented there. Do you agree with this statement so far?
I wasn't listening.
Okay, just take my word for it. That's the way an image. If you open it up in MATLAB or anything, it's just a bunch of boxes that have a number that know to go into the color spectrum and pull a number, and then take that number and convert it to a color, right? And so. Now,
that's not how it works.
Well,
what it does is, no, it's not. You have a definition of a number of a color, and then you have a definition of a number for the intensity that color will be represented on the screen. That's why we have a multi-bit processing in imaging.
Okay,
so once that happens, right? So it's a combination between the two, and then effectively it gives you your RGB. And it's the RGB and the intensity of each of those particular colors that will then give you the display color on the screen.
Okay, so Sean, we're going to need that modeled mathematically.
My world now.
Per pixel. And Sean, per pixel, as Rumpus says, we're going to need that modeled mathematically to understand the bottom up mathematically. Are you comfortable with that?
I was in the chat. I told you that a minute ago.
Okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Each image has a set of boxes that has a number that tells it gives it a way to describe what color is in that box. Now we need that.
I don't have to do that. It has nothing to do with curvature. Sorry.
Yeah, what's that got to do with the curve of the Earth?
Absolutely nothing.
He said he could model what we're seeing, bottom-up obstruction, using mathematics.
Nothing to do with what you just said.
No, I think actually that Rumpus is trying to solve a different problem, which is based on an image. How can he actually tell how much of that particular portion of an image is being obscured by the curvature? For that, he would have a very difficult mathematical problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically, Sean is addressing the actual question at hand, which is angular size and the curvature of the Earth, and how you can actually represent what part of an object should be obscured, and then how we could tell how to do that.
Yeah, it's a two-step process. Rumpus does use the geometry of the Earth to assess whether the radius is causing the blockage. That's one step. He does have a ray tracer that can produce images that reflect what should be seen with that geometry, and so he does both. And so if Sean knows that,
again, hey, I'm not Rumpus, and I didn't say I was going to do Rumpus's.
All I'm saying is there's probably 10 to 20, 30 people on Earth who can do stuff like that.
Here's the thing.
What?
Whatever you're making up in your head, keep going. But what I told you I'm going to do...
There's only 10 people out of 7.2 billion people who can do what Rumpus is doing. You're such a retard.
No, who studies that, Channel? Who studies that kind of stuff?
Oh my God. Have you heard of Google? Have you heard of Google, a place where you can get all your questions answered?
Yeah, who studies all those optical effects that you
Ask Google.
20 or 30 miles?
Ask Google. I don't even know what the fuck you're asking me, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So just go on mute.
All I know is you said there's only 10 people in the world who can do math, dude. And I was just like, what?
It's a very niche field. Why would somebody want to model things 30, 40, 50 miles away over water? Who would do that?
People do it all the time because they have to make star charts and they have to make maps and they have to make topical graphs and they have to build buildings and bridges and seaworthy vessels.
Yeah,
what are you talking about,
the
dude?
model mirages and the model.
Look, just because you spent your whole life hiding in a closet, not understanding anything, doesn't mean the rest of us did.
Okay, well, just tell us who does it. I'm open to it. I want to learn.
There are thousands of surveyors
architects, map makers.
Thousands and thousands.
This math is way over the head of surveyors. Come on.
You are.
Wow. Oh my God.
Hey, my God.
Sean, are you a surveyor?
I'm a hobbyist surveyor, but yeah, I know surveying, and I am a grade checker. Hey,
can I ask you a question, Sean? Is this math way over your head, or is this attitude of mind of God's way over your head?
It's way over his head, big time.
Yeah.
No, mind of God. The next time you decide to disrespect surveyors, you may want to remember that I kind of know a lot about it.
No, their fault. They're not trained in this. This is very complicated.
You're a handicapped child, man. Stop that shit.
You're not trained in this, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's why I would not make the claim.
Where is your position?
That Sean just made.
Where is your position validated, sir?
I wouldn't make the claims that Sean made that he could understand.
You are making a lot of claims right now, and I'm asking you, how is your claim and your position validated when you say only 10 people in the world can understand these maths? It's just a ridiculous assertion to make.
Not to mention you conflated. Hey, mind God! Not to mention you conflated the shit out of what I said into somehow what Rumpus is doing. You understand that what I'm gonna do? Maybe take 4 steps. Dude, what I told you I was gonna do? You need to understand is nothing like you're trying to make it at all.
No, I know you were gonna open up Microsoft Paint and do something ridiculous, and I was stopping.
And guess what? And guess what? The best part is it'll work just fine.
No, it won't, man. We're trying to get to something sophisticated, man.
We'll see. We'll see.
Dude, you're not sophisticated. It's all in your mind. This projection that you think that you're projecting, the sophisticated, intelligent, speaking, rational ideas that you have, mind of God, it's all in your head. You do not appear that way. Nobody is picking that up from you. You're constantly projecting it, but it's not coming off that way because you have so many holes in the things that you say, and you make ridiculous statements like what you just said.
We know what smart sounds like. We know that. We know what intelligent sounds like. We know that.
No, you don't. You won't even listen to me say it. You talked over me the entire time. You're just talking over me the entire time.
It doesn't involve.
You're talking over me the entire time, which is the exact opposite of sophistication. You are not being very sophisticated, sir. At this time.
Calm down, dude.
Yeah, it does not involve opening Microsoft Paint and drawing little squiggly lines.
Doesn't? Are you sure?
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
We're past that.
How past it are you?
You're not past it, dude. You're not past 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Time the fuck out. Hang on, Channel Q.
I'm sorry. You just pissed me off when you said that.
No. Nothing wrong with you. Mind of God, show me your fucking model. The one you, Lemon Bird, and Matrix claim is
I said it could be modeled.
Let's see
not
it.
Modeled.
You had all night. Let's see it.
I said something could be modeled.
Exactly. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Go on, then.
You're starting to irritate me now. So
all right, open up Microsoft Paint, dude. Fire it up. Let's see it.
Yeah. No. I'm working on it. Don't worry. I told you when we're done with this live stream, I'm gonna start a new one, a one-on-one, me and you. And that's gonna give me that's gonna give me my time. That will be the time I need to get the data for what you need.
All right, if you're willing to do that,
I'm more than willing. I actually enjoy this. I've done so many topo maps. It's insane. This is what I do.
No, I think what Mind of God's expectation is you're going to model every light ray coming from that image. The path is going to travel the actual individual angle of reflection for every single centimeter.
Mind of God,
because
nothing to do with what I'm doing. Nothing at all.
It's nice of him to have these expectations of others when he can't even prove to us that his floor is flat or not.
Yeah, and you're going to get what you asked for. And I told you I was going to give you. And remember, this is recorded, so when we do that, the hangout after this, I would already have had that clipped out and ready to go.
What's clipped out?
What actually was asked, rather than what you think you're getting.
Yeah, we don't need people firing Microsoft Paint. That's absurd. That doesn't prove anything. There's enough images where that bottom up doesn't.
Again,
guys, don't use tools. Just make up shit and spill it out your mouth.
The flat.
I'm talking to you, John.
No, she's definitely talking to you.
John, she's talking to you, dude.
No,
she's
definitely talking to you.
From Craigslist, Flat Earther.
Definitely talking to you.
When did Channel Q get on?
Flat Earth isn't a marketing scheme.
It doesn't matter.
You
She
might
can
wanna,
get on here
You might
and
want
say
to get out
whatever
because
she
this is
wants.
definitely not a marketing scheme, and your
We're
little
just
marketing
letting
boys aren't
people
going to
know
work.
how absurd the Ball Earth
Actually, can we give Chris a quick mic check because I think he's having problems.
Is he?
If we want to be nice.
Oh,
Hi, Chris.
Okay. No, Chris, we can't hear you.
Is he talking? I don't hear him.
No, he left a message in the side. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, he's gonna try to come back in.
Got blinded by the light, guys.
Mind of God, you said that you're here outing us. Do you realize that you're just showing what you're capable of more? Nothing yet,
We're
Chris.
trying to raise the level of the discussion to just not making up absurd Microsoft Paint drawings and stuff.
Check your settings, Chris. Your settings on the in here and your settings on your computer.
It's a stalemate. It's what Barry said. The images can be used to support both. That's what it is. That's just leave it at that.
Yeah, but they can't.
Hold on 1 second. Chris, go to your if you're running Windows 10, go to your system tray, click on it, double click on the little speakery icon, and then make sure you've actually got your right microphone selected. It could have been you plugged something in and it's taken the mic over.
Yeah. Could be.
I have one too many bots in this goddamn chat.
Do I still have permission? Like, could I just totally kick this dude?
No, they're doing
I'm just
the weird,
kidding. I'm
they're
just
doing the
kidding.
weird
I don't
hangout
want
thing. I'd give it to you.
Chris is having problems. He can't.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with why his settings are doing that.
Well, sometimes
Q,
it's weird, like when you join, so he should close out all the Google Hangouts, then reopen it, then check the little padlock thing, you know, at the corner of the address bar, right? The address, and see if it says block on any of that. And if it does unblock, then close it, then hit the little reload button and then refresh, because it doesn't always get, sometimes it just blocks things or disallows things when you close it, and then when you open it, you have to refresh in order for the changes to take place. So maybe that's what his problem is. I have that problem, so that's what I'm saying.
Or it's just Google Hangouts, because, God, it's ridiculous. I do know for a fact, though, that they're in the transition of taking Google Hangouts out completely. Like, Hangouts will be no more at all. It's going to be that Meets, and they're working on integrating right now Meets with YouTube to be like Hangouts, and it's you can't snipe the Meets, but the host can eject anybody.
Well, only 3 years later, Jesus.
Yeah, for real.
We'll finally make one that, you know, we could like use.
Yeah. The only issue I have with the whole Meets thing is that you do have to either create or have a domain and then pay for it. But it's
so you have to pay for the domain and the app?
I think it's just the domain. I think. But you're able to then.
I thought the app was a monthly rate, or is that just the domain?
No,
that's the professional version. You can get like a free version if you've just got a domain. If you want extra services and more people, then
you can't. I don't think you can. I don't think you can join or create a meeting without the.
You're gonna have a domain. That's what I looked at.
Yeah.
I had a quick look at it, but I didn't really look at it. So.
That's the only thing. I mean, it's great. I like it. I mean, I think it's just new, so that it's odd to me.
Yeah, I saw it on Jose was using it, and it had closed captions, like it was writing out the things people said wrong, but it was still funny.
But
it's pretty quick though. It keeps
that right there.
With you.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that right there is genius, because what that does is it actually. For some people who actually care, when you're monetized, you get more for closed caption, and there's only one other way to do that, and that means you have to go and type out the transcript, because because Meetings has it there, it's then now closed captioned, and it goes, and actually more people see it as well. There's a lot of things about the little YouTube.
Wait a minute. I know Barney's really confused. He's like, why does paint invalidate math? Was it invalid when it was done on paper? Very good questions, Barney. I understand. But here now we've got Mind of God. Now he's calling Barney a silly what? What is this word?
Heuristics.
Silly hand waving, the fat fingering when it's opened
up. Now, what's
up.
this word you typed, Maud?
Look it up. Just go on Google.
Yeah.
Spell it out. Spell it out. Just sound it out. Okay.
No, I want you.
Let's start with it.
I want you to tell me what the insult is that you gave Barney.
Heuristics. Just let's spell it out. Let's word it out together.
Mind of God. You need to tone down a little, man.
Heuristics.
We're here, Chris. We're here, Chris.
So do you know what heuristics are? Because actually, no.
It's an educated guess. It's like fat fingering. It's just an estimate. It's an approximation. It's just garbage.
I heard fat fingers were good.
So it's math.
No, math is rigorous. No, that's the different.
No, heuristics is a probabilistic modeling. So heuristics is basically almost along the lines of discarding what is impossible. So it's like almost reversing a question. So I used to use heuristical processing for network mapping. And the whole point of that is, rather than asking, is port A connected to port B on a very complicated network, it would say, is port A not connected to port B, which is a much easier question to answer. It's much quicker. And that's a heuristical process. It's reversing the logic.
No, it's not. Here's the definition. A heuristic technique is any approach to problem solving or self-discovery that employs a practical method not guaranteed to be optimal, perfect, logical, or rational. 1 second, but instead sufficient for reaching an immediate goal. like convincing people that they're on a ball.
That's Wikipedia.
And what disagreed with what I just fucking
Where
said?
is statistical in this? You're confusing.
Did you also know that heuristic is the H in HAL 9000?
Yes.
Where did probabilistic come into that? There's nothing about higher probability or low probability in that definition.
Yeah, it's sufficient, which means that it is more.
No,
than
it actually says it's not sufficient. It's kind of it's just a quick and dirty way to explain something.
Yeah.
Right. But here it says it may not be logical, rational, perfect, or optimal.
The difference is depending on how you use a heuristical process, that's like for a single pass. When you're doing something like network mapping, you're doing thousands of passes per hour. So you're collecting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of results, which then does give you a probabilistic model.
It's an oversimplification.
Yes, but when it's used as compound data, it becomes quite valuable.
If you read the last two lines of that paragraph,
or relevant, but if it oversimplifies like it would when we're looking at these images, which are very nonlinear,
you wouldn't use a heuristical model for this kind of thing.
Correct.
I'd probably say you go down a stochastical model.
You would not use Microsoft Paint to explain something that is nonlinear and time varying. That is correct. Yes. Agree.
Well, no, that depends. No. Wait a second. But again, what you're talking about is you're trying to get as close to an absolute as possible.
Yes, that's why we're here.
Which is kind of like saying, I've got a 10-mile wide cavern, but I need to thread it with something as wide as an atom. Why are you going for such minimal tolerance levels?
I'm saying if we have a very, very complicated problem, if we oversimplify it too much, we lose all the information. So why not just not go there? That's my point. Just it's okay.
Because it makes it almost impossible to do the model.
We're at a stalemate.
Wait. No, you're not in a stalemate, because what you're saying is, if you can't recreate the entire world to do something, therefore you can't prove anything on this world. You're almost going down to that level. That's the level of ridiculousness.
Are you comfortable then? Are you comfortable then?
I would be comfortable with, say, a plus 2% variance either way in a result.
Yeah, so there are enough laser tests that show that the Earth is flat. Are you comfortable with us just resting on our laurels and just not?
No. Is that wait a second? Is that
Nobody's resting on their laurels, dude.
Yeah. No, I asked you, and you for some reason.
This is the exaggeration that you've applied, Mog. That
really
doesn't
like
actually
to finish
exist.
This point. I asked you if a 2% either way tolerance, a plus or minus 2% tolerance, is that a reasonable tolerance for this kind of observation?
No, for the images being modeled with the bottom-up obstruction on a ball, no. Yeah. There's no notion that doesn't even come into play for something.
So you're saying if we've got 30 meters of obstruction, that if I'm out by 8 or 9 centimeters, that's not reasonable at 5 fucking miles.
No, if that were the case, that obstruction is the only thing that's acting, that would be reasonable, yes. But that's the whole point, is that we believe that it's not acting at all.
Here's what you believe.
The amount that it's acting would be.
Well, no, I'm actually
what you believe, though.
But you're an engineering kind of person, I thought.
True.
No, he's an accountant, and he doesn't like math, so I don't know what his problem is.
I don't like Microsoft Paint.
I thought
Microsoft Paint was made with math, dude. They used math to build that program.
How? Walk us through it. Channel Q, walk us through how that happened.
He really wants to run away from the tolerance thing.
Yes, he does.
No, the tolerance is good, but the whole point is we're debating whether it's 0 or 100% caused by Earth curve. So what tolerance is there? We're debating. We think it's 0. So what do you mean? What tolerance will we accept? We want to know whether all the other possibilities.
No. But the only reason that you would literally want to model down to the fucking photon is to get an incredibly accurate result.
No, it's to ensure that we've covered all the different
possibilities. I don't understand, Trust. Mog wants to argue about whether or not he's 5'8" and 5/8 or just 5'8". Okay?
No, let's say we have 5 things that we think are causing bottom up. Would we not need to model it precisely to ensure that one of those is not to be considered? You would need to model it pretty precisely to ensure.
I don't know. Do I need to know about the 5/8 in your height in order to get an inseam to fit you right on your pants, or? If I just make pants tall enough for somebody who's 5'8", will I be all right? Or do I need to include that 5/8? extra material to your hemline. This is silly. Your argument is silly. See, now I shut him right up.
Outstanding.
It's called logic. These people don't use it. They
No.
try to use
Why
logic.
is it silly?
They try to make up logic and then exaggerations and then argue stupid points and waste people's
Why
time
is
all
it?
day.
Why is it silly to want the most accurate representation of our?
You're getting the most
natural world
accurate. You're getting the most accurate
without refraction.
representation. Without that 5/8 of the inseam added, you're still getting the most accurate representation.
Chris,
No, that in
Chris,
fact,
you
you're
Chris,
wrong.
again, do you understand that when you use refraction, you understand that the reason it's not always refraction is because refraction would be different no matter what you're looking at all the time.
And that's why, right? And that's why we get different observations from the same location, same distance, same height.
Yeah. Wait. So you understand that curvature, obstruction, is always, it happens at the same distance, pretty much at the same observer height, like repeatedly. You understand that, right?
Right. And what I just said is the opposite, where we have the same height.
I know what you said is the opposite. That's the
and
problem.
Different, quote unquote, obstruction.
Quote unquote. Chris, man, I'm telling you now, it doesn't work.
Sean, you're either not understanding me or you're not hearing me. When you say the only cause of obstruction is curvature, but we have
wait. I said the only cause of obstruction is. I told you that obstruction due to curvature is repeatable, and we can show it to you over and over again.
Show me right now. Show me right now. Pull it up. Let me see it.
Sean, are you sure you want to go down this road?
I don't mind. Yeah, no damn.
None of us want to go down this road, dude. But
you're going to show
won't get off of
time
it,
varying, which is going to make you look bad. But keep going.
I'm doing what? I'm doing what?
You're going to make this time varying.
I want to see this obstruction due to curvature.
I heard you, Chris.
I want to see obstruction due to flat surfaces because I remember Mog told me that you could obstruct things over distance over flat surfaces, and I'm still waiting for that equation, Mog, by the way.
Yeah, you can.
What's the equation? What is the equation for the rate of obstruction over flat surfaces so that I can run tests on it?
Life is Short has the equation.
No, there's not an equation. There's a video of him going on and on about masons and hand signs and numbers.
You're talking about the wrong guy.
You're talking about the wrong guy.
No.
He doesn't do that kind of stuff.
He doesn't.
Life is Short. We could go back to Jose's channel and we can find the video where me and Mog had the discussion about Life is Short's channel. And I tried to figure out which video it was. And I found a 10-minute video where he went on and on about masons and numbers, but he did not ever supply an actual equation for the rate of obstruction over flat surfaces.
So clearly, Channel Q, that wasn't the right video.
What the hell?
God.
Channel Q, was it me talking about masons?
You know what it is, Chris and Mog? I want to tell you right now. You know what it is that the world should really get sick of people like you, and we shouldn't even tolerate you.
Well, then go.
Because it was I watched every single video on Life is Short's channel, and there are no equations. And obviously, you don't have one to present to me. You just keep telling me to go watch the video and not watch the wrong video. But you are not presenting to me an equation either.
Nor have
it's not one equation. That's the whole point. There's lots of them that would need to be used to model this.
You're full of shit, and I'm calling you out on it.
Okay.
And I'm not being nice about it. You either present an equation to me for the rate of obstruction over flat surfaces, or you stop asserting that that's the truth.
If I do,
one or the other. Either you give me the equation so I can go and find out how much a glass of water is obstructed over my dining room table, and to test that equation that you give me, or you stop saying that things can be obstructed over flat surfaces. Because that's the way it's done, boys. That's the way it's done.
If I give you the equation, will you leave?
That gave me chills. And hey, and Chris, this is my panel, buddy. You don't get to do that.
Well, I can make deals with people if I want to. Yeah.
But like I said, let's see that.
She's making bold.
Let's see that.
She's making bold statements.
You make bold.
I'm making
you make
bold statements about flat surfaces obstructing things.
Yeah, let's see that, Chris.
You're saying there's no equation.
Let's see. Hey, let's see.
No equation.
Let's see that happen.
Give me the equation. Prove me wrong, Chris. Why aren't you proving me wrong? If I'm so wrong and there's an equation,
Chris,
why haven't you shut me up with this equation yet?
Yeah, hey Chris, why don't you show that equation so that we know you know what the fuck you're talking about, and maybe we can start going. We can actually progress in this conversation.
One or the other.
His whole video walked through the same thing that I did, but just with his own.
I don't need a walkthrough. I just need the formula.
Just watch the video.
Right, because
I watched every video.
No,
He's got
no,
videos
Chris-
on there that are 4 hours long, and I watched all through them looking for that equation that you guys just claim is there. And I feel like if the equation was there, you should be able to just get a Microsoft Paint up and show me the formula.
Now she's trolling, dude.
Hey,
Come on. Man.
Chris just said he had it, so let's see it, Chris.
I'll look for it. Where's your picture of curvature?
He doesn't have it because he's not even testing this equation himself that he claims he has that he doesn't have. He hasn't even tested it himself to see if this equation is accurate, but he insists that he has it.
Zinder
and that
owes
it's
my
my
boy
fault
life
that I
insurance
can't find it.
$5,000. He owes him 5 racks.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what this is all about then?
No, I'm just saying he put the thing out there. We
Is
produced bottom up.
Campaign for you, Mog?
I'm just saying we showed bottom up.
Is this a commercial? Is this an ad campaign? Or is
Barry,
it an equation? Are
Oakley,
you giving me an
Jose.
equation or are you doing an ad for your flat earth bullshit?
Lots of
right
people
now?
have showed bottom up. And
Are
then,
you doing an ad for your flat earth bullshit or are you getting me an equation?
I'm getting it for you. Are you going to leave when I give you the equation?
No, I'm not.
Anywhere.
You're ruining this hangout.
I'm going to test
No,
it
she's not.
right here.
No, she's
live.
not.
She's not at all.
Yeah, she's going off for absolutely no reason. Like she's on.
No.
Dude, that's not going off.
I
You
clearly
don't
hear-
know
hey,
what it's like when me go off.
Yeah, I clearly hear a reason for asking for you to produce what you keep saying you can produce. So we'll wait.
Well, I asked you first. So
Sean,
you
you've got
picture of curvature.
Sean, you've got a PMARS sock account with a wrench in your chat right now.
Which one?
Well, you can read the message and figure it out.
That one. Yes.
So confused.
That's what I'm here for, Barney. I'm here. I'm full circle all day. I'll bring it around full circle all day on these fucks. They don't understand circles, so they never see it coming.
Channel Q, you must have access to a 100-foot hallway. Just do something similar and let's see what you got.
I have no. Hang on.
Go out and do an actual test, Channel Q, instead of coming into people's chats and spitting bullcrap.
Hey, god damn it, Chris! I'm gonna
I
tell you
want to
right
do
now,
a test,
nothing
but
she
you won't
said
give me
was
the
bullcrap.
goddamn equation so I can test
You
it.
don't need an equation to do a test.
I do. I need your
This isn't-
equation
This
so I
isn't
can
high
test
school. No,
Right.
just
Well,
go
how
see
do you
if
make
can
a
disappear.
prediction?
it. Yeah, this isn't. Can you
Sorry,
unlink this guy?
sorry,
Or...
hold on a second. That's actually really quite telling. How do you make a prediction to actually confirm that your prediction follows an observation? Isn't that what you're testing?
No, we were testing the notion that ballers claim that if you have quote unquote line of sight, you will never have obstruction, even on a flat surface, and we have proven that to be false.
Damn it! Which one? Hey, I can't
so
read all.
Dean
Hey,
Rumpus,
damn it!
Channel
Hey,
Q,
here's
everybody
the thing.
submit.
Hey, here's the thing. When I talk, usually that means, hey, listen. Which screen name is it? Because my chat.
All
was
right,
not
all right,
even the
wait.
one.
Tim Osmond, why are you... Look at... You guys took those pictures, and now you're harassing me with them because you're upstanding men and gentlemen. So now this is what I'm going to get. Because you don't like me spoiling your meme, Tim Osmond. You don't like me pointing out how this is your meme that you've been protecting so that you can continue this bullshit. So now you're going to harass me in this way. You guys took those pictures. I did not give you those pictures. And now you're going around in chat rooms and sharing these pictures on me. What is the threat that you feel, Tim Osmond? How threatened are you by me and my presence and my knowledge and what I know and what I'm willing to say that you have to resort to that? You don't look very manly, and you're certainly not a gentleman. Nice job exposing yourself, Tim. I'm done.
Yeah, let's not do that. Pictures and personal stuff.
Tim Osmond's a scumbag.
Guys, hang on.
Actually,
Tim,
thank
stop,
you.
man. Don't not my
Yeah.
man. Period. Don't.
No, I just want to
that
thank
ain't even
Chris.
fucking cool at all. I don't even
Pretty
know
sure I
what the
said
fuck's
everything
going
that
on.
needed to be
Period.
said about that.
I think
know,
thank
you,
you for everybody
uh,
for saying something, so that's nice.
We don't stand by
It
that
is
type of
scumbag.
stuff. We're just here discussing geometry. That's it.
Well, we would like to be, but you guys still haven't given me that equation.
Okay.
On point.
I'm looking for it. Well, I'm looking for it. Sean, have you found
I'm
your picture
uploading a
of
video
curvature?
later today when it's done. You guys will be able to see exactly how sexy Channel Q is in her own video where she presents herself the way is the truth and not like these little scums and little creepy stalkers who I don't know why on God's green earth Tim would ever think that was a good choice for his reputation right there. But okay, dude.
Channel Q.
Hello.
Asking,
How have you been?
I'm good, and thank you again for your graciousness recently. Asking a flat earther for an equation, I think, is in most states is a hate crime.
Schrodinger, Scott, we run circles around you, man. Just go on mute.
Yeah, Schrodinger, go back to your boat.
I think it's safe to say there's plenty of evidence of this. That you get what you give with me. You give me respect, you give me decency, and you're going to get that in return.
Why'd you
give me
say
this
God's
other
green Earth?
bullshit, and you're going to get bullshit in return.
Why'd you say God's green Earth? I thought you were God from a past hangout.
No, my gender is God.
Yeah,
yes.
and I, in my opinion, it's just, and my beliefs are my beliefs. They don't mean it's fact.
And
I'm not anybody's God. I'm nobody's
yes, you
God.
are. You're mine. Sorry, you and Barney.
My gender is God, and I petition my state to have that official. That I have transitioned my gender to God.
I'm just saying, everyone needs to be listening to them, Barney and Channel Q.
And
all that
I
needs to
never
happen.
should have called you. I never should have called you Channel Q. I meant Lord Almighty.
That's fine. I'm not going to be like really crazy about my pronouns either, because whatever. This is my castling. I'm playing chess with this whole regulating of people. And their thoughts and their words. And my castle move is my gender is God, because my gender creates human life. And if you can create human life with your gender, you are welcome to transition to God as well.
Oh, I can do that.
But if you're going to continue to be homosexual and reproduce incorrectly, then God gender doesn't really apply to you, because you will never create human life that way.
No, God produces unilaterally. You do not produce on your own. So that's the difference.
No, everybody keeps making that point. But yes, I can produce human life with other
So
God
hold on
gender.
a second.
Hold on. What
With
did
other
you just
people,
say?
with other people who have
One
God
second.
gender, we can create human life together. So therefore, our gender represents God and is a representation of God.
Would that mean in your world mind of God that God is a jellyfish?
Could be.
No.
Well, a jellyfish can reproduce by itself.
Fuck yeah.
So then people who can reproduce by themselves could transition their gender.
Yeah,
to
jellyfish would be on a higher order of godliness than Channel Q. Yes, correct. Sure. I'll give you that.
What the fuck? Oh wait, hey,
This
mind
is
of
all
God.
fine.
Whoa,
I'm all for equality.
Mind of
I'm
God.
all for the equality.
I get one point for that.
No,
I
you
get
don't.
one
Mind of
point for
God.
that.
No, you don't, because of this, dude. Stop. We talked about this, and you are about to make a big fucking mistake. Stop now.
I know what you're saying,
His
and
name's
I
not
agree.
Mind of God. His name is Mind
Let's
of
get back
Channel
on
Q.
point.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's give her. Do you want the equation, or do
not
you want
my
me to
mind.
watch the video on your own for 4 hours and learn something?
No, I want you to pull up your paint program and just write the equation out for me, and then I will copy it down, and then I'm going to go and test that on my dining room table.
You want the formula for angular resolution?
No, I want the formula for the obstruction of objects over flat surfaces.
Oh man, now I got.
I found it. I'm just trying to.
This one that you claim that you have, that is so readily available to you, but yet I couldn't find it, and suddenly you can't find it either. You don't know it. How hard could it be? How hard could it be? It's a simple equation of distance over length over height. That's what, 3 numbers, and you can't find
Distance
it?
over length over height? No, that's not what's happening. It's related to the
Distance.
property
We're talking about angles, and we're talking about obstruction.
and the property.
Maybe it's absent Mind of God.
Yeah. I coined him. Well, Brenda started calling him Mind of Fog, and I tried to popularize that. He gets an F for fog instead of a G for God.
Gets an F for something.
Why does he have to keep joining in here on 2 different accounts too? Like, what
Dude,
is going
getting
on with this
kicked out,
skill
man?
set?
I think Mama YouTube's just having a bad day today.
I think that might be God trying to tell you that you're wrong.
It could be.
Take the hint.
I'm about to go to my city hall and make a speech about discrimination at 6:00. And then probably going to be running for office.
Cool.
In my own city, because I'm just so tired of these morons making decisions for everybody.
What sort of discrimination?
Well, it's become apparent to me because I live in a city that's pretty rough. Okay, I live in New York, and it's rough here. And there's a lot of like ignorant people. that just think they're right about everything. And you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. It's not just New York.
Yeah, we have.
Okay,
You're
so
right.
in my city, we have a lot of repeat violent offender type people, and the police are not real hard on them. And I think they should be, because they're ruining the prospects of law-abiding, property owning, tax paying citizens such as myself. They ruin my business, they ruin my property, and they ruin my freedom and my rights to liberty and to pursuit of happiness. They're just in the way of it all, because they are constantly vandalizing my properties and attacking me aggressively, because they've decided that this adjective of crazy applies to me. Okay. And it's been a problem for me, because all of these people are crazy, but they decided that I was crazy, and then they can justify doing all these things to me because they decide I'm crazy. Well, she's crazy, so I can do this to her. She's crazy, I can yell at her. She's crazy. And that's how they treat me, because they're drunk and they're in and out of jail, and they're constantly domestic violence problems with them. The police are constantly being called for them, and they have records of violence and just, destructive behavior. And I do not. I own property. I run a business. I'm a good person. I do not have a record. Okay, I have epilepsy, which isn't a mental disorder, so I shouldn't be called crazy, but they're calling me crazy. And then I was attacked by one of these people, and they tried to mace me, and there were witnesses, but the police officers came out here and decided that because I was hysterical after being attacked, even though I was in my house cooking ravioli and my front yard was trashed by these drunk people and their garbage, the police decided that I was crazy, busted my door down, and drug me out of my house from my dinner and took me to jail and called me crazy several times during that. So I'm going to make a statement at City Hall about how we shouldn't discriminate against people just because we've decided that an adjective such as crazy applies to them, and then therefore justify destroying their business, their home, and incarcerating them unjustly. I was maced, and she was not arrested. I told the police officers that she was trying to mace me, and that she had mace, and that she had come on my property with the mace and tried to assault me with it, and that my neighbor, a man, came in and got in between us and got her away from me, and the police wouldn't even take his witness. What the police officer decided to say, that because the two drunk women that were throwing the garbage all over my property were vouching for each other, and one was white and one was black, the police officer literally said to me that he didn't think the white woman would lie for the black woman. And I asked him why he was the police officer. So I'm going to go to City Hall, and I have several other things I can add to this report. I'm going to make a very long speech about how police officers need to not be ignorant or biased, and they actually need to do their job and investigate. Because if the police officers would have come to the home and seen the trash all over my property, which they did, and then had to bust in my door to pull me away from a steaming plate of ravioli, who's the criminal here?
Bloody hell.
So this is my life, people. And this flat earth people are not the only idiots in the world that I am defending us against, because it's a problem. It's a problem that there are so many people walking around who are so ignorant and so certain of themselves. And it's even worse when they have a gun and they're extremely hostile and have the right. I have a right, as a law-abiding citizen who has done nothing wrong, to eat ravioli in peace in my home.
Without getting maced.
Yes, there are recordings. I have recordings, but this does not confront this police officer who continued to lie in his report blatantly. And now I have videotape or recordings on my phone of this entire incident. And he wasn't interested in taking any reports or investigating the scene or looking into the records of these people who are constantly. I have filed so many reports of vandalism and harassment for my properties that I have not been able to hold anybody accountable for at all. And then these people are constantly having the cops called because this girl and her boyfriend get into fights all the time. And the cops are here like 12 times in 1 week. So this is a long record of disturbing the peace. But I'm getting charged with disturbing the peace for sitting in my home eating ravioli? No, I am not. And I'm not going to stand for it. This world is not going to behave this way as long as I'm alive. And not have me say anything. And by the way, Chris and Mog, I'm still waiting for that equation. Thank you.
I'm still waiting for a picture of the curvature from Sean. So
I got actually on screen. I was actually waiting.
Dude, Ranty and your picture, your avatar is a picture of curvature. And why don't you just go to Ranty's channel and check it out, dude?
Yeah.
So I could show you a video. I could show you. Where'd it go? God damn it. There it is.
That's a flat ground.
What happened to that boat, Chris?
There's no flat ground.
I see a boat. What are you talking about?
Oh, no. This is a video.
Guys, watch it sink.
Yeah, it's a good video, Chris. You should watch it.
Is falling inside the band
Does
of
that mean we'll see it's a
mist.
submarine in disguise?
Nonetheless,
Wow,
the
this is terrible
observable
quality.
structure
but good thing they have
proportions remain the same.
You guys can't
What
hear
are
it now.
With the mast representing
Do we
1/3
need to hear it?
and the body of the boat
Well, she
2/3
is
of
explaining
the
it.
space above the mirror line.
Everyone else hears it. If you go to the watch
As
page,
the
you'll hear
ship
it.
proceeded
Google Hangouts
further
won't let
into the distance, we find this continues to be true even as the distortion line rises to the point where it starts to
Okay, wait.
affect
Can you just
the
can you go
mast
back
itself
to the lines?
about here.
Say again?
Okay, so just pause it right here. What's the
Pink lines?
pink
Where's
line?
the other half of the fucking boat, Chris? Don't worry about
what's the
those
pink
lines.
line?
Call the Coast Guard. It's sinking.
Oh, shit,
What's the
dude.
pink line?
Yeah, I'll find out right now.
I can tell you what it is. It's the refracted
Smaller
hidden
in the
line.
distance.
I just want to take a moment
The
of silent
amount of the
hopes and
ship
prayers
that
for
is
all the people who drown on this
inside
boat.
The distortion
Yeah.
continues to
Wait,
rise.
well, how do you know there's part of the boat missing? It just looks like a boat sticking in
You're
water.
right.
to
You're
me.
right. You're right.
Do you know what a hull is?
As the
H-U-L-L?
distortion increases
Where's the
with
hole in when
distance,
a boat's in water? Channel Q.
continues to
Look,
rise.
right there.
It's
See
just
that?
above the water.
That pink
No, it's not
line?
above the water. It's in the
Oh,
water.
for Christ's sake.
Some of it's in the water,
Oh my
some of it's
God,
not.
dude. Chris, do you even fish?
You'll generally run up to what's called the plumb line.
Did you ever go ocean fishing?
Okay, so the pink line is the refracted hidden line,
I
right?
just want to know how many feet above the water you think you are when you're in an ocean fishing vessel.
Not many.
It depends on
Actually,
the vessel.
Depends on the
Yeah.
vessel.
God, what
Yeah.
a generic question.
If it's a Norwegian one, it's about 65, 70 feet.
Well, what kind of vessel are we looking at sinking right here? What's
How
the
far
size
is
of the
this
hull
boat?
on
We
it?
don't know anything about this, and you guys are claiming curvature. This is the problem.
You don't
okay?
want to
Well,
talk about the
no,
lines.
it
Hey,
appears-
Chris, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris.
Oh my God.
Go to the watch page and listen.
There's full audio.
Just from looking at it, it's a blue water vessel, which means it can go into the ocean, which means it's at least, I would say,
I'm trying to find a good picture.
125, 150 feet.
Yeah. That's a mid-sized coastal trawler.
Right.
Bit bigger than that's actually a mid-Atlantic trawler.
So it's 3
Right?
iPhones high. It's 3 iPhones high, then, right? Is that what I'm seeing here?
What?
It's a Coast Guard ship.
You can't say it's 3 iPhones high because all screens are different, Chris.
Sounds weird.
We don't measure
that's
things in
really
iPhones,
weird.
Chris. We measure them in actual math.
That's 3
Right.
batteries.
An
high,
iPhone or
right?
an iPhone Plus?
That's 3 AA batteries. High.
Yeah, 3.
So the distance between the water and what you would call your main deck is called
Actually, the-
freeboard. So that's how
Yeah.
you measure how much of the ship is out of the water.
Yeah.
To your main deck is called freeboard.
Do freeboard.
This is my area expertise. What's going on here is so simple to understand. It's hard to sort of put into words.
I was actually going to say, as long as the battery is a standard unit that we've actually given a value to, then we can use it in maths to calculate.
You know what? Just play the video. Let's just see where we go, where it goes.
I'm showing you where it goes. We don't even need to really show it now that I realize it. Look, so
No,
this is our first
What?
measurement. Listen to me. Whatever you're watching this on right now, Chris, measure it. You can do
I don't need to measure it.
Oh no, please.
Let it play. Let it play double
Just play
speed,
it, Sean.
Yeah, let it play
wanna
double
see it.
speed actually, and just see what you observe. What do you think you're seeing here?
Yeah.
Just double speed, I would say, and just let no one say anything. Just think about what you might be seeing.
Wow, Pete said no one say anything. I am impressed.
I think that's a good idea. I know what's going on here, and you do as
With
well.
the
Not
mast
you do, everyone
representing
does.
1/3
We
and
just
the
got to
body
think
of the
about it in
boat
the right
2/3.
way.
As the ship proceeded further into the distance, we find this continues to be true.
I think
even
Barney wants the
as
link for the
distortion
video,
line
Sean.
rises to the
Oh,
point
shit, yeah,
where it
I forgot
starts
he's
to
not.
affect the mast
Hi,
itself.
Q.
About
Hello,
here.
Pete. Glad you liked my video.
One second.
As the ship continues to move away from
that
us,
was hilarious.
getting smaller in the distance.
Yeah, you're pretty funny sometimes.
The
Pete.
amount of the
Someone
ship
in the
that
chat,
is inside
someone in the chat said they
distortion
googled what was it?
continues to rise.
Spoon, knob, whack, flaccid.
As the
I wonder
distortion
what sort of
increases
results they
with
would have got.
distance,
That's funny, but that's a true
That's
story.
one
Someone-
Google search I wouldn't do.
sitting on the
It's
and
like
melts
it's a true
into
story,
the
and
sea.
you can imagine why these things would need to
Hey,
be
Pete?
catered for if they
Pete?
were encountered.
Pete, can I ask you something, Pete? Can I ask you a question, Pete?
Sure.
You came on here and said, "Why don't you play the video and no one say anything?" And you have not stopped talking
I'm sorry.
since.
I beg your pardon, Sean, and I'm just saying hello to everybody anyway.
I have no problem with that, but I mean, I was just
Sorry
like,
about that.
I'm just sitting here listening because I can hear it, and that's probably one of the other issues. I can hear it, and I'm going. I thought Barney said that. I thought
I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it, so I thought it didn't start yet.
I was like, I thought Pete said no one talk while we played. I'm so confused right now.
You should have said it was started, man.
I know. I hear it, so I don't think I wasn't thinking about
The
it.
sound for the video, Pete, you can only hear through the YouTube channel. You can't hear it on this one, yeah?
Okay.
So if you want to hear...
Sean, can you give Barney that video link?
I'm looking for it. I have it in my I've taken it and put it in my file, so I can't just give it. I'm gonna.
You should have given me the ability to kick him. I muted him.
He's gone. And he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm watching the back page right now, so I just wasn't looking at it.
Sean G, do you have the hold number of this ship? Because I can look up the stats really quick.
Absolutely not. This video is actually old as shit, and it was in my files. If you want me to pull up my stuff that I have like real data on it, I can do that. That'd be fucking it. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, don't waste your time. I mean,
can I ask?
Because
Cliff,
I have
you experienced these sort of conditions
you know
at
that
sea?
you know who Dazaman is, right? And this is the best part.
The cameraman.
Yeah, Dazzle the cameraman.
The cameraman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, so I when him and Riley and all them were going through all that crap, and we started doing all that curvature stuff, I actually emailed him, and at the time he was out of town, and he emails me back and he goes, "Hey, what's up? Why don't you give me a couple days, and then I'll send you a few of my data points." That man sent me over 125 files with every bit of data you can need about the bay he took the pictures in, about everything. I know more than the meteorologist of that city. That's how much he sent me.
Yeah.
What happened to the video we were watching?
I've got to go out to the port here and start taking some pics because I mean the things that I've seen, we just took it for granted. We didn't document it because we already understood. It's like it's like taking pictures of the grass growing on the off chance that someone may one day say grass doesn't grow.
Cliff, did you experience these mirroring type conditions at sea when you were at sea?
25 people were talking at once.
Sorry.
Well, it wasn't. It was me and P. Mars, and he's gone. I was just asking, did you experience such similar conditions to what we're viewing here, or what we will be viewing again when you were at sea? You must have, right?
Yes, under certain conditions, yeah.
Thank you, White Sean. You're not Sean.
Excellent.
Q. That's so much faster. Like P. Mars, dude, I'm sitting in the
P. Mars
back
is a
chat,
baller as well,
ass.
isn't he?
P. Mars, I'm in the back chat. Like, you can see on the fucking watch page, I'm waiting for you, dumbass. Jesus Christ. At least catch up.
Oh, dear.
He knows it's all theater, P. Mars does. He's playing his part, sure.
It's just fun. It's amazing that he even thinks it works.
But so Cliff, when you looked out, or these conditions with some target on the horizon or whatever beyond the horizon, what did you say to yourself? Did you say, "Well, I know what's going on here. Here we go again. We got some looming mixed in with some super refraction, mixed in with some hyena piss. I don't know.
Nigger.
He got more accounts. You got to be quick on the trigger here.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, we would take these observations into account. We had multiple sensors, so we could take the aggregate of the different sensors and see what we were looking at. So you would look at it. You would look at it on radar, and then we had a system called AIS. We had a system called Geeks, which is global. Was a global tracking system. So you could look at all those and sort of take the mean of them and tell how far away.
Well, I'm talking.
was.
This is a visual thing, Cliff. I'm talking purely visual here. Forget about what the screen say, because we know what you see on the screen accounts for something that's much further than what you should be able to account for, right? In terms of radar, etc. But in terms of the visuals, when you look at a ship at a certain distance, you don't know it, and you see this mirroring, what appears to be mirroring. What do you say to yourself? Do you say, well, here we go, that's that again. I've encountered that 150 million times before. Again, is it super looming mixed with refraction, some sort of fantastical mirage you're looking at? That's all I'm getting at.
I would say, hey, Cliff, let's go look at the SBS 73 surface search radar, and then look at the Furuno commercial surface search radar, and then look at AIS, and then take the aggregate of all of those and decide where I think this ship is. And then, if necessary, make a contact report to the captain, and maybe call the other ship and make a passing agreement that maybe he comes left and I come right, and we make a passing agreement to stay a certain distance apart from each other.
All right, okay. All right, well, look, I'm getting at the wrong thing then.
So it's not as simplistic as you're trying to make it out.
No, but I know that. But what I'm talking about, let's say before you were on more sophisticated craft, when you were on the ocean in a more basic, and you looked out through your binoculars, did you see these sort of conditions often? That's all I'm asking. I have no experience at sea, really. Can't relate to it. All I can do is go by videos I see here.
Well, yes, it just depended on the circumstances. Sometimes we were in fog and you couldn't see jack shit.
Yeah.
So do you know what we would do? We would go to low visibility. So we would send out lookouts on the port and the starboard and the bow and stern, and so they would be out there. We would sound our ship's horn every 30 seconds, and go from there. We would slow down to
and I hope the clock was accurate.
Did anything ever happen, man? It sounds like a boring life. Does anything ever happen, or is it just all preparing and training for stuff to happen?
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm kidding. I mean, well, no, I'm not kidding. I am, and I'm not kidding, actually, because as you know, Cliff, we talked about this. My attitude towards 9/11, and we're not going to talk about it here, but it is that it's a media and a victim fakery extravaganza. But when it comes to wars and news of wars, well, I apply the same sort of skepticism, and we're definitely fed lots of disinformation and misinformation and fake imagery. So what is the reality of the situation? I guess I'd have to talk to you. I have talked to a few people. That's interesting. I tell that at a different time, their accounts. But I mean, yeah, you'll be there as a first-hand witness to what you experienced.
I have told you my 9/11 story, and I assume that you assume that I'm lying.
No, I'm talking about real action that you've experienced at sea. Even if you do experience real action, I'm sure nothing happens most of the time, right?
Well, in the military overall, yeah, it's a whole fuckload of waiting. And then there's a shitload of action, like all in about the span of about 5 minutes, and then there's another, 3 days of waiting. That's how that works. That's what the military is. Anybody else who's in this panel can attest to that as well.
Were you ever under fire, Cliff? But I can ask you something else to consider. 9/11 was the new Pearl Harbor, we're told that's what they're looking for to sort of instigate some massive changes. This is the PNAC document, probably for new.
He doesn't know anything about that.
No, but hang on. This comes back to the new Pearl Harbor. So if 9/11 is the new Pearl Harbor, let's take a look at Pearl Harbor. We had 3,000 deaths. And we had this surprised but not unexpected attack. And of course, when you look into it, well, more fakery everywhere. So is this the connection that's been made? Have you looked into that possibility?
Yes, I'm aware of the conspiracy theories around Pearl Harbor.
Pearl. Can I just remind everybody? Pearl. It's all a game of clues. Pearl comes from an oyster or an I star. R-I star cuss. Well, that doesn't matter.
Come on.
All clues,
you know
Chris.
what?
Hey Pete, you know that guy Ben Delight?
Who?
Ben Delight.
No, man. I don't. I can't say I do.
His name is Ben space D apostrophe light. Think about it. Ben D Light. Ben D Light. What's his part? What's his part in all this, Pete?
I don't know who he is, man. If I knew who he was, I'd make some comment. Unless I'm missing something. Doesn't ring any bells anyway. Ben D Light. But everybody. Oh well. Listen. Don't get me started. I don't want to take over the conversation. So many clues.
Oh, it was hijacked about an hour ago when Channel Q joined them.
Chris, stop.
It went downhill from there.
I'll start.
Well, Chris, can you understand the images? What we're seeing here with the boat sailing away. What exactly is going on? Do you know exactly what's going on? Because I think it's very simple to appreciate.
Who doesn't matter? Anyway. The fuck out of their keyboard.
That didn't matter. It's probably for a different conversation. I haven't spoken to Chris really, and every.
What was the question? I wasn't listening.
No, I was just saying when you look at that boat sailing off into the distance and you take into account everything that you become aware of, have you explained to yourself what's going on? Can you understand what's going on in reality? That's all.
Yeah, I have a whole video dedicated to why boats disappear into the distance.
It's the mirror layer, right?
It's completely wrong.
But it's Chris.
There's absolutely nothing wrong about it.
Yes, it was.
You must have come to the conclusion that it's the mirror. It's the mirror water layer, right? If you haven't come to that,
that's part of it.
Yeah. And it's in when the conditions are right. There's a few different conditions you have to take into consideration. But when the conditions are right, we see what we experience. Well, if Sean puts up the video again, we can make out exactly what's going on. We can look at it as a local mirror. And you can also think of it in terms of looking at a lamppost across a distance over a body of water. It will almost stretch to your feet. So we can look at it. We can take all of these factors into account, and we can explain it perfectly on a flat plane. It's all about contrast as well. Contrast.
Yeah, I mean, so the one thing we don't see with these boats going over the curve is the ass end of the boat lifting up.
What?
No.
You wouldn't see you don't see the front to even say that. What are you talking about?
I didn't say the front. I didn't say the front.
It doesn't even make sense that
because it's going over a curve.
You know what was most important that you didn't say, Chris? You didn't say, Channel Q, here's that equation for things being obstructed over flat surfaces.
Yeah, but you have to suddenly start to explain how things go from direct visuals. Channel Q, you have to go from how things go from direct visuals to being some sort of miraging effect. You know, when does it change from reality, as we describe it, to this sort of mystical, mystery, mirage-y affair?
The mirages aren't mysteries or mystical. They're not magic spells. They're just a phenomenon of light and atmosphere interacting. There's nothing magical or mystical about it.
Mirages are associated with the desert, right? We rarely encounter mirages. Now, what you're looking at in real time is this transition from the natural, from the real, to the mirage.
We can encounter a mirage anywhere where heat and temperature and water and light mix.
Right, but you only have a very limited distance. You see, you've only 3 miles to incorporate all of these effects, or just a little beyond 3 miles. Whereas, you know, this is not the reality, of course. So that's it's a difficult gig being a baller these days. I'll tell you that.
Only because we have to deal.
Yeah.
I'm not struggling. I'm fine.
It's okay though.
I'm gonna eat some dinner. I mean,
I've got some good information from Q. Q definitely knows more than what she lets on, and that's cool. That's the ultimate purpose of us all, right? The way I look at it, all of these things are we were meant to know, right? So we're meant to follow the path laid out for us, and well, you know,
Chris, that equation is for looming, not for objects being obstructed over flat surfaces.
That's the equation.
I'm not talking about a place where there's a lot of atmosphere and loom going on. I'm talking about my dining room table, Chris.
The bigger implications, what if there's waters above as well and they behave in a reflective pattern? Well, if there was some sort of an energy expressed against it, what might we expect to see? These are the bigger implications to all of this. And
what if it was all pixies?
if you say so, man, but you can't explain. I guarantee you, you put me up against anyone with that picture, any one picture like that, you put me up against anybody, and there's only one winner coming out there in terms of a viable explanation, a more convincing explanation. Absolutely.
Sure?
Especially if I put some thought into it and I made some sort of a presentation.
How did you do last time?
Oh well, last time was just it was an introduction, Cliff, and it was a good conversation. You covered a lot of stuff as well that we didn't have time to go into, but that's fine. I mean, this is all I look upon these things. It's not a show for me. I'm not in this for any money or anything like that. I'm just talking to people here, right? And if you're interested in the conversation to see where it goes, you'd be surprised where you learn the most valuable things, right? So that's all.
What I'm here for. I'm here to talk to the people of the earth.
Yeah. See, the advantage that I have when I make these observations is I have other sensors that can tell me how far away they are. I don't have to just look at them and be like, oh, that thing looks like it might be 3 nautical miles away. I have multiple other ways of judging. So
you must have picked up stuff that looking back at it now should have been well beyond the horizon. Well beyond the curved horizon. You must have, Cliff. Definitely must have, because we know that many instances have been given already. What do you reckon? What's your answer to that?
And at those times, we could look at the conditions and say, oh yeah, okay, so that makes sense. But guess who else we had on board? Meteorologists.
Who? Yeah.
And Cliff, where are those sensors on the ship? Are they down at the bottom, or are they right up at the top, at the very highest point?
Which sensors do you want to know
radar,
about?
for instance?
Okay, so radar will be up on our mast. So
that gives you a vastly increased horizon, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. So our height of eye
For some reason.
But it would on a flat plane as well, right, Gus?
If I could have the floor, I would be happy to talk about it.
No.
If I could have the floor.
Sorry,
so on, I'll speak on the LHD, which is probably what I'm probably most familiar with. Our height of eye on the bridge was about 100 feet, and our sensors were anywhere from 120 to about 150 feet above that. So we had the Furuno, which is a commercial surface search radar that you'll see on like yachts. You know, the white sensor you see spinning around on the top of a yacht. Yeah. And then above that, we would have the SPS 73 surface search radar. Winston, please stop making noise. I'm sorry, I'm yelling at my kid.
Very demanding, Cliff. Ooh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mention that, Cliff.
Sorry. Well, he was making noise, which he is prone to do. He's 10.
You do an impression of Beavis. Can you just say reality sucks in the Beavis voice?
I cannot, but I can.
It doesn't sound anything like Beavis.
Yeah,
just do an impression of it. Reality sucks.
But I'm happy to talk about ship sensors, which is what I was talking about.
What is the range then? Yeah.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but come on, man. Get to the point. This is an open discussion.
Oh, Christ feet.
Off you go, then. Come on. Stop being so melodramatic. You're not in the army now, sailor!
When was
We're not talking about looming, Chris. How can there be looming on my dining room table? I don't care what Rob Skiba says about looming. There's no looming on my dining room table.
How big's your table?
I know. My table is 10 and a half feet long.
Oh, hang on.
That orders to your what friend, Q?
And there's no looming or atmospheric refraction happening on my dining room table, Chris. It's just a flat surface obstructing objects over distance, and I need the equation for it.
Q, I'd say you make an excellent arguer for the other side, for the flatter side as well. Like, I'd say you would. Of course you would.
Yeah, if the Earth was flat, Pete, I would.
If only, and I know the Earth isn't flat as well, Q, because you have to take the Earth as a whole. You can't say that a tree stump is flat, or a tree, when you're looking at the tree stump stuck out of the ground, that the tree is flat. You can't say that. Right? Only a section of it is flat. The Earth is flat in the case. And you know what that, you know what I mean by that as well.
Yes, I understand, Pete. The Earth is lumpy.
Does the Earth move? Yes, the Earth moves. You have to define its component parts, you see. No more is it separated by the vast infinite space on either side of every side of us. Everything comes back into, well, true perspective. And everything is connected. And that's the only way you can see it. Notice the way Nathan Oakley is excellent at what he does. No one will take that away from him. But when it comes to what...
Nathan Oakley is my bitch. Internet confirmed.
I know that. But you know the story. But he's excellent at what he does. Very few go up against him. Only because the truth is on our side as well. We know that, right? But
No,
you notice the way when it comes to the sun, moon, the stars, he won't go anywhere near that. What has replaced the vacuum of space, or what's the nature of the container he says must exist? He won't go anywhere near that. Not natural in all these years. So that's for us to venture further. Sorry, Cliff. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I know you were talking. You were no genuinely. I know you were going. But lighten up a small. But I'm having a drink here, and we don't need to be so regimental about it. But I appreciate what you're saying as well. Yeah.
What was he saying?
Well, he was talking about the different capabilities or the different instrumentation on board, and which allowed for the measurements of distances and target locations, etc.
Well, you were saying that the truth was on Nathan Oakley's side, and I was saying that the mute button is on his side.
Oh yeah, I know he's an actor on the stage. My point is we have to understand this is the situation, and we learn more from what they won't talk about, where won't he go, than where he will go. And that's what I'm saying. Everything comes back to the Earth. We have to identify it in a new sense, right? We have to start to try to identify its component parts before we can understand them. So I mean it in that sense. The Earth cannot be said to be flat as an overall thing, but certain aspects of it certainly can.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, because what? You imagine, when I say Earth, you imagine the spinning ball Earth, Cliff.
No,
this is
I don't
fantasy.
think we understood anything of what you just said at all.
But hang on, you see, that's only because my picture is different than yours. Your picture, Cliff, is people in Australia now are going around about life upside down to you. A completely obnoxious notion to all of our sensibilities ever experienced by any of us, ever, anywhere, ever. It's only something that can exist in the imagination.
No.
You can't go across there and suddenly be under there. You can't do it, right? So again, it's all metaphor. That's your picture. But that's your picture and your perspective. If you're coming from that perspective honestly, that's fair enough. I would label you insane. I would label you literally
Pete, hold on a second. You think there is an absolute down?
Well, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. But in the limited sense,
what the fuck are you talking about?
In the limited sense above here, this is what the apple represents, a toroidal field, right? But that's a different matter. There's a below and above.
What does that have to do with down?
Or we could be said to be below, right? But this is part of a description of the Earth as a whole, right? Our home here. We all share the same fucking home. So whether it's what you say or what someone else says, it still is what it is. So can we work out in as best way we can what might be going on? I think we can. I think that's what we're fucking here for. That's why we have brains. We're brains on a spine. That's what we are. We're brains on a spine. Think about
Pete,
it.
Shout out to the original creature.
What did that have to do with the question that I asked you?
Well, because as I said to Cliff here, he didn't understand the word I was saying because he phrases everything as you do, Farmer's Boy, as you present it anyway, in terms of this spinning ball Earth, where everything is described. So there is no up or down. You now picture, you zoom out from your location where you are now, you look down at the Earth, you see what they saw from the moon images, or what they see from the ISS. I don't see that because it's not real.
Are you accusing them of assuming the sphere? And that's why they can't understand you, Pete. Is that your point? That they assume a sphere, so therefore.
Yeah, that's their starting picture. Exactly. So.
What if my feet were above my head? What weighs down?
Well, when I said down is not an absolute, above it is an absolute because it's a pushing force from above, right? So you will be in an unnatural position. So from your personal point of view, you can label down or left or right, any way you like, right? But in a universal sense, there's enough. The stars and the barrier is up for all of us, for instance.
1 second.
There's a barrier above and it's up for all of us.
I really agree with something you just said there. I really agree with something you just said. Yes, down is kind of from a personal perspective. So, no, people on Australia are not upside down because for them, down is towards the center of mass. For me, down is towards the center of mass. That's what I view down to be. Unless I'm talking about down in an abstract manner, like, you know, I'm going down the pub or, wow, look where I've just gone down because, you know, I've fallen down a set of stairs.
Russ, you know better. Look up at Polaris, look up at your night sky, look up at Polaris and find Orion's belt. You're pretty much spanning from the North Center to the equator, right? And think about the angle that makes, and think about how, if you extended that to how much more you'd be able to see. We see a vast portion of the Earth in terms of the sky, what's going on in the sky. We've been tricked into thinking we're looking at something completely different than what we actually are. So everyone's sky is above them. All of the stars are above us. That's up. That's the only up. Everything is down in relation to what's up, and there's a barrier up. The stars are emanations, reflections against this barrier, coming downwards. Gravity is a reactionary force to the horse that's holding back this barrier, these waters beyond. It's part of the barrier itself. This is down. Everything has been pushed down, and this is what ye call gravity, right? This is what that force is about. So this is down. But when you get to down underneath, if you go up to the North Center, jump in a giant whirlpool or something like that, come out the other side, well, down might very well be up, or a completely different world down there, or up there, whatever you want to think about. Just, you know. But we can see absolutely different pictures. Cliff there, definitely. I think you do an excellent
notice that
impression
Pete's
of
been
Venus.
taking a long time to tell us that down is subjective.
Yeah.
No, well, look.
Down is subjective, and I think we all can agree.
We know flat Earth is just the beginning, Q. Come on. That's why I asked flat Earthers, what do you mean by saying the Earth
Beginning
is
of
flat?
what, Pete? What's at the beginning of?
Well, that's it. Yeah. Back to the future.
Because I thought that flat Earth could possibly be the end.
Right. It is the end of the illusion. That's why the second coming, I
The
hold,
illusion of
has
what?
already happened.
The
Second
illusion
coming
of
has
what?
happened, right?
The illusion of
the
what?
illusion. The Globe Theatre. Shakespeare, the same
Are you
hand that
sure
wrote the
that
worst-
it's not the illusion that people are capable of being honest?
Right, well, the truth is written in our hearts. I was just saying that to somebody today
Maybe
in
it
the church,
doesn't have anything to
actually.
do with the shape of the Earth at all. Maybe it has everything to do with whether or not people are actually capable of being honest.
Well, Solomon Buildings,
Whether or
Son
not
of
honesty
Man.
actually lies in facts and witnessing and measuring and knowing, or if, truth lies in whatever we feel like for today. Maybe that's what it's revealing.
Well, this is the scientific method then,
the end
Q,
of
isn't it?
navigation.
Maybe the problem isn't with the shape of the Earth. Maybe the problem is with truth in general. Maybe there's a problem with truth. Maybe some people
Absolutely.
think that truth means something that it does not mean, and therefore make truth a lie. But it has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. Maybe there's some people willing to lie in the face of truth against all odds, against evidence, against everything. And why?
Sure.
Why are they willing to do that?
But then you have to describe the motivations behind everyone.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know that.
everyone.
When we're talking
Sure.
about greater questions like this, right? These
I
get
think
to
that is
the-
the question. I think that is the question that Flat Earth is presenting. Why would somebody choose to continually lie about something against all evidence?
Who's lying? You're talking about something specific then, or yeah? I told you,
No,
my
I'm
point
not.
of view
I'm
in all
not.
of
I'm
the
just
arena
speaking
here.
in general about people who. It doesn't matter which side you want to put it on, Pete. Why would they? I think that's more important than the shape of the Earth.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, I've gotten into all of that, of course. I mean, I'm on my own channel, but I don't want to take up the conversation here.
You can
with
see that it's a mirror reflection, can't you, Pete? That the flat earthers think that all of the scientists are lying against all the evidence and everything against them. And then the people who think that the earth is a sphere think that flat earthers are lying against all the evidence and everything against them. So it's just a mirror reflection. It's the same thing. It's
Right.
two peas calling each other not in the pod.
And we'll find the truth somewhere in the middle. That's why I say
I don't
we
think
can go back
I
to
don't know
testing
if we're
our
finding the
senses.
truth in the middle. I don't know
Well,
that.
we will. we can see all of the stuff presented to us as metaphor now. The spinning ball is metaphor, Q. Australia is over there, right? You're over there for me. If I was to put on my jet boots and head, I'm going to head straight away in a futuristic sense to Q,
Wait, you
about
have jet
20
boots?
yards above the ground. I would head in a straight line, and I wouldn't vary from that straight line until the cave in which you dwell.
You wouldn't get there.
Of course I would. Of course
Bullshit.
I would.
I think we
And
need to
it's-
find
that's
out what,
all, no
what
matter
are
how
jet
far it's
boots
traveled.
and how did Pete get them?
Yeah.
Well, we can still have an imagination, right? I forgot if we could do a spinning ball Earth or a heliocentric Big Bang believer. This is all imagination. Of course, you got imagination. You can
Well, I
imagine
don't
jet boots.
necessarily subscribe to the Big Bang, but
The Big Bang is a reference to the
God
sexual
was
act.
weird.
Q. It's the reunification.
Oh, Jesus
That's what it's
Christ.
a reference to. Again, it's all metaphor. What are you saying, Jesus Christ, for Cliff? You ever had a sexual act? You know what a sexual act is?
He's praying.
You're in the Navy.
Oh God, he's off again.
Not quite.
Somebody hit him with a spoon.
Farmer's boy.
Somebody hit him with a spoon.
I think this is the time where I'll bid you all good night. I think
I
enough
don't blame you,
insanity
mate.
Some
for
bad
one night.
memories brought up there from Truss.
No. I just got amused with you calling me Farmer and Cliff most of the day.
It happens.
I know.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll bid you all good evening.
Well, Truss, I'm sorry about that. Your
Yeah, we'll
volume was a
catch you
bit
later,
low,
mate.
bud. Sorry about
Have a
that.
good night, Truss.
Cheers, man.
See ya. Oh dear.
I think it's been a great hangout, guys.
It's been very entertaining.
I gotta get going because I gotta go to City Hall.
Go and sort them out, Q.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, did you meet Riley? I heard. I'm not sure if you were directly on with Riley, but Stephanie was on. But I heard there was didn't Jose read a text in chat for the reason why he wasn't going on, but he came on later, didn't he? Well, and I heard the end of it as well. Oh, go on. This is scandal. Is this something to do with the money he got for his university course or whatever?
Yeah, he's not getting a degree. He has already said that he's not going to get a degree.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh shit.
These are not my friends, Cute or Sean. I mean, what the fuck is going on here now? Ranty has a rantathon, rantathon, and he's getting a drone. And I've already said this before. Ranty is just doing what Wide Awake was doing 3 years ago. This is already settled.
Yep.
So I mean,
Yeah,
it's good enough. I mean, it could.
Pete, you need
Yeah.
to start a scam. Get
I know.
with the rest of them. Start a scam.
No,
make some money.
My heart isn't. My channel isn't monetized. I don't want fuck all for any. I hate money. I don't hate money, but you know what I mean. But no. I don't like any of this sort of stuff. And look, when you look at the likes of, they're bouncing off each other. Like you said, they're mirrors
You've
of
got
each
too
other.
much pride to beg for money, dude.
They're mirrors of each. It's not about that. Come on. It's not. I wouldn't beg for money. I'd play my guitar or something like that. Q. I wouldn't beg for money. But no, it's not about nothing about pride. Number of homeless people around here in Limerick is desperate. Like I'm sure you can all appreciate that somewhat, but not the way it needs to be at all.
Most people don't even have to ask me. I just walk by, hand it out.
Well,
Aristarchus
no.
is a great band name.
Aristarchus is mentioned 5 times in the Bible, and guess who Aristarchus is associated with being a loyal follower, a very mysterious character of Paul of Tarsus. I was thinking, Q, about the book of Sirach came up, and then immediately when I took Aristarchus, what came out? Tarsus. So we have the Book of Sirach, and there we have Paul of Tarsus. And of course, when I say the dodo, which is Paul from Paul/Fall from the Beatles, the dodo came about when Aristarchus was decapitated. So we have a changing face to the earth. This is why the Gleason's map, when you turn it upside down, gives us a picture of the dodo. So this is what this represents. But how it's encoded in these ways as well, amazing. I'm going to send that to Q. She's probably following a little bit more than most, even though I'm not following at all. But sorry, just to go back to it again then. So yeah, the Globe Theatre is at an end. So yeah, Shakespeare, I hold the same hand is responsible for all of this. Like,
Shake your spirit, Shakespeare, dude.
Right. Well, the same hand that wrote Shakespeare wrote the Bible, right? And
what are you talking about, Francis Bacon, dude?
In the same, no, that's even an invented character. That's another invented character and another sidetrack, but all with clues for us. The dodo was discovered in 1598. So this means that the dodo came into being in 1598. And believe it or not, I mean, that's what I hold is my best picture. The sun, the moon, the stars as we know them, everything, the planets, everything, are only 421 years old this year. And it just so happened that Easter Sunday, Ishtar Sunday, Istar Sunday, Aristarchus Sunday, was April 21st or 421 this year. So think of it what you will. Not for everybody, but...
No, it's definitely not for everybody.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go to... Guys, I'm going to post a video later today, and then I'm just going to try to go... What is it? Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a live hangout. I know I haven't been around. I have had a lot of shit. I had to evict somebody and then deal with this other craziness. So I haven't had time. But I did get a video out, and I did finish another video, but I just got posted. So that'll be later. And I'll try to do live tomorrow, probably. Just do a hangout.
All right.
If you're live later, I'll be around.
Q, go and give them some shit.
Yeah, well, I don't want to give them shit. Like, I want to be really, like, reserved, and I want to speak very diligently and choose my words very cautiously, because I think the point that I'm trying to make needs to not be, whitewashed by an emotional post a video later today and expression of my own.
Fair point. No, that's a fair point.
Yeah, because, this is where the adjective is crazy, and I don't want to fuel this fire. I want them to understand that this is an appropriate behavior for police officers or neighbors or community, and that, how am I supposed to feel that I have a right to defend my property or myself if everything I say can be dismissed because of an adjective applied to me, and my rights taken away from me because of an adjective applied to me, and nobody's done any medical research or investigated to determine whether or not that adjective lawfully should be applied to me. So this is, I just want to make these kind of very sterile statements and then leave. And I don't know what effect that's going to have.
All you can do is try, can't you?
Yeah, well, I just figure I should say something because I find it very discriminating, and it's ruining my livelihood. I mean, these people, I spend so much money on repairs from vandals, and I have not been able to hold anyone accountable. And I could tell you things like that. At one point, there was a riot on my street. It's a neighborhood. It's like not a public area. It's a neighborhood, and there were like 100 people in the street macing each other and beating each other with baseball bats, and the cops didn't do anything about it. The cops actually told me that the law states, and I know this is wrong, but just go ahead and let me finish, that the law states that people are allowed to assemble and that people are allowed to engage in mutual combat. And I said to the officer, I said, well, as far as I know, this is not the law, only with a permit, and certainly never on private property, so not on my front lawn, which is where they are. So, this is a problem where the cops don't want to do anything. They don't know the law. They're only doing their job according to what they feel they want to do, who they want to arrest, not who they should arrest. So it's not a good atmosphere. And then I'm pretty sure we've got a steroid problem with the cops that I've already read about before. So I'm just going to add this into the whole pile of things, and hopefully somebody will go, well, we can't let this continue because this is going to get, very out of control. So it's just like I'm just adding another straw to the camel's back here. I'm not trying to make the whole city, bend for my wishes. I just want to make the point that these are inappropriate actions that have occurred.
Let them know about the corporate state and the legal name fraud, Q. We're all going to do our bit. I've done it in the local station here. Don't expect any justice, I think, though.
Oh, I never expected any justice because I've lived in America for a long time, and justice is a myth as far as I'm concerned. There are a lot of people that are imprisoned that are innocent. This is a fact. And there are a lot of people running around on the streets that are repeat offenders. So in that alone, I can see a lack of justice.
There's a lot of people living and protecting the lie.
Well, it is called the criminal justice system, and it is in place to protect criminals from injustice. There is no victims' justice in America.
Well,
No Department of Justice for victims. There is only Department of Justice for criminals to protect criminals from unlawful prosecution, which is not happening because, like I said, there are many innocent people in prison right now.
Yeah.
And that's, part of the thing. And this is all just because of dishonesty and the human's ability to be dishonest, because it's easy to trade up honesty in a moment when we can forget about the bigger picture and why it's important for us to do the right thing and be honest.
But everything is a lie, Q, and the same people who bring us the spinning ball Earth, heliocentric Big Bang universe are positioned therein, while bring us these same authoritative systems, right? So what part? The question for the individual is, what part do I play, general, in supporting all of this horrendous? Whatever you want to call it. Anyway, listen, you're up. So nice talking.
All right. Bye, Sean. Thank you, everyone. Everybody have a good night. I'll see you around later.
See you later. Right then. Just hanging out, mate. So no, off you go and do what you got to do, mate. We'll leave you to it. Okay. Yeah, catch you later.
Christ did it again. That's all your guys' fault. I was just telling farmers that everyone was leaving, and then I was telling you guys again. There you guys go. Sorry. So again, I'm gonna get out of here, but I want to just talk about the issue of my rants lately when it comes down to Anthony Riley, Ranty, Quantum Eraser, Nathan. I mean, you name it, Bro Sanchez. It's very clear. Like, it's one. I'm getting so frustrated because I'm pissed I didn't see this shit. But the reality of it is they are literally just bullshitting people who don't understand. And I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna stop. Riley, you may want to act like I'm some kind of science denier, when in reality, all you're doing is making these uploads denying how science works. Who's the real science denier? You don't even grasp the concept that you don't even use terms correctly, let alone teaching people what the hell's going on. And we had this conversation yesterday about Bro Sanchez. Same fucking thing. He can believe whatever the fuck he wants to believe, but the second you start trying to teach people and doubting, or better yet, Riley, denying how science works, then someone needs to say something. And that's what the fuck I'm going to do. You may not want to deal with me. You may not want to be on my panel. It's only showing that you're a pussy. I'm sorry, man. If you were so damn sure about how things work, you'd be on any panel calling you out, and I'm calling you out. I'll call any fucking flat earther out that thinks they understand what's going on enough to show me how it's actually fucking flat. Because otherwise, you're still bullshitting. It's okay to believe. It's okay to look into. It's okay to doubt anything you fucking want. Denying shit ain't even that bad. The problem is that you got to be honest about it. That's the reality of it. And if you're not willing to, what the fuck are you here for?
But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest. I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5. I'm rocking, they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, so stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.